Hey, this is Simon Scriver.
And this is Nikki Bell.
We are running a virtual fundraising conference on November 19th. It's called Fundraising Everywhere, and you can find it at fundraisingeverywhere.com.
There's some amazing speakers that we've got lined up for you. We've got some names on there that you will be familiar with and some speakers that you may not have heard before, but all of them will be sharing amazing fundraising methods that are proven to work, and they will be teaching us how to do that in our own charities.
We've tried to make it really affordable for all organizations, but for small charities, it is completely free. So go look at it at fundraisingeverywhere.com, register now, join us. It will be accessible, it will be affordable, and it is amazing.
Yes.
You're listening to Simon Scriver's amazingly ultimate fundraising superstar podcast, talking all things fundraising, charities, nonprofits, and more. Here's your host, as always, Simon Scriver.
Hey, another quick tip where we spend less than 10-ish minutes talking about one area of your fundraising and giving you some practical steps to make it better. Today, we are talking about getting celebrities on board, getting a celebrity ambassador, getting a celebrity partner, getting a celebrity to help with your fundraising and marketing efforts. And it can work really, really well, but it is all fun and games until they post something racist on social media or they turn out to be a sex pest. Still, there's lots of benefits to having a celebrity ambassador, and it's not something that we just throw ourselves into. It's not something that's just going to come out of nowhere. There is a bit of a science to it. We do have to play the odds with this, and we do have to put a bit of work into getting this if we decide it's the right path for your organization. Now, we have to consider why a celebrity would want to partner with you. There's obviously a lot of organizations for them to pick from. Why would you appeal to them? Why would they partner with any organization? Why would they donate any of their time? In the same way, we have to ask why any individual would choose to volunteer with you. So first of all, we want to think about who we're going to try and approach, who we're going to try and partner with. And we go back to that old ethos of not trying to find someone who we think is a big name or we think would be great and then trying to educate them and teach them and convince them to come on board. But instead, let's find someone who is more likely to come into our circles, who maybe is already attached to our organization in some way, someone who's going to be a bit easier to get in front of, and then work with them. They might not be the biggest stars, but it's going to be a much easier task than starting with someone from scratch. So let's move on from the big name celebrities. I always think back to that one week I had two separate meetings with two separate organizations, and both of them suggested that we try and get Bono on board. And we have to ask, why the fuck would Bono care about our organization unless maybe he's personally affected by it, or he knows someone who has something to do with the organization? We're just going to spend a whole lot of wasted time trying to get Bono to care about it. So instead, we're going to go through that same circle exercise I've talked about before, where we look at who's in our network, who maybe has been personally affected by the cause, who we can get introduced to, who's on our radar. And these are going to be the celebrities. They might not be major celebrities, they might be minor celebrities, but these are going to be the celebrities who are much more likely to partner with them. And they don't have to be major celebrities. Think about who your target audience is. And they might be following the celebrity that you can actually get access to. They might be someone you've never heard of. So just because you think they're great, you think they're really famous, you think, wouldn't it be great if they were partnered? It's not an excuse for you to meet them, but actually we're trying to get to their audience. So say, for example, you're trying to approach a younger demographic, or maybe use a celebrity to get more student fundraisers on board. You might find the celebrity might be one of these YouTube stars that you've never heard of. But still, they're the better ones to approach rather than Ringo or Paul McCartney or someone like that, just because you would love to meet them. So be really sensible about who we're going to approach. You got to play the odds and find the ones who are most likely to respond to you, most likely to take the time with you, and it might not be your favorite celebrity. So we're going to figure out what we want them to do. It's not like they're just going to agree to partner with us and then, with a wave of a wand, all this money and all these supporters start to come in. We want to really consider what actions we want them to take. We don't want to give them too much to do, but at the same time, we don't want to give them too little to do. We're going to ask them to do one thing at a time for us, and that might be bringing your message to their audience through their social media or through their website or through their newsletter or through media appearances. You might have them coming to an event to help draw a crowd. You might be using them to interact with a major donor or a group of major donors or corporate donors, if that's the kind of VIP offering that you want to offer these people. Or perhaps they're personally affected by the cause that you work with, and they're willing to share their story. And because people know them, it suddenly makes your cause a bit more accessible, a bit more understandable, because we hear their personal story from someone that we feel that we know. We're going to plan how we're going to interact with them over time. I like to think of these celebrities, you almost want to treat them like a segment on your database, and this might be a segment of one person. And so you're going to plot that supporter journey as well. Think about what communications they're going to receive, how they're going to receive them, what you're going to do for them, what's the schedule of communicating with them, what's the ask going to be. And we want to bring them through pretty much that same cycle of ask, thank, report that we talk a lot about. So rather than just going to them every time you want them to do stuff, we want to also report back to them to show them what an impact their actions have had, tell them what they have achieved, what the organization has achieved because of them and because of their actions, and really be keeping them sweet so that they'll continue to work for us and continue to go out the way for them. They're a volunteer, remember, just because they're a big name or a big name in some circles, just because they're a celebrity. You know, why are we so obsessed with that? We got to still think of them as a volunteer, and we have to treat them in the same way that I've talked about volunteers in previous quick tips. We want to think about our communication with them. Remember, they're human. So they have the same human desires. They have the same, emotional baggage. They make their decisions emotionally, and then they try and back them up logically. They worry about what they're doing in life. They care about their friends and family. They have all the same flaws and character traits that we do, even though they're celebrities. They're just as insecure and broken inside, maybe more so. You know, that's what has driven them to the celebrity status. And so we want to be personal with our approaches. We want to be human, and we want to try and understand what they're going through and get into their shoes. So we want to guide them through this process. They're going to seem confident on the outside. That's their job. A lot of time is to seem confident, but they're going to be a little bit insecure. They're going to be a little bit clueless about this partnership, and they're not really going to know what you want them to do. So we have to hold their hand through it. You know, if you want them to share something on social media, then give them suggestions about what they want to do. Even give them exact wording, because they might not know what to put. If you want them to record a video, then talk them through it. Help them through the process. If you want them to ask someone or thank someone or go through that, you're going to have to teach them how to do so effectively. They'll appreciate the help. It'll deepen the relationship, and it'll make all of their actions even more effective for you. So really think about that. You know, if you decide that a celebrity is a good way, or trying to secure and trying to manage a celebrity is a good way to spend your time as a fundraiser, and spoiler, it's probably not. There's probably many better ways for you to spend your time. But if you decide it is, then that is the way to do it. Find the ones who are already on your radar, find the ones who are maybe affected by your cause, and then treat them in the same way that you would treat volunteers or any segment. Plot out that supporter journey, make them feel special, guide them through the process, and teach them how to fundraise. If you follow those kind of tips, you will be on your way to securing a hugely popular celebrity. In the same way we've seen, other charities partner with people like Michael Jackson, Jimmy Savile, Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby, Rolf Harris, Kobe Bryant.
You've been listening to Simon Scriver's Amazingly Ultimate Fundraising Superstar podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and head over to changefundraising.com to learn more or get in touch with Simon. Or don't, whatever. You're big enough to make your own decisions.
Hey, this is Simon Scriver.
And this is Nikki Bell.
We are running a virtual fundraising conference on November 19th. It's called Fundraising Everywhere, and you can find it at fundraisingeverywhere.com.
There's some amazing speakers that we've got lined up for you. We've got some names on there that you will be familiar with, and some speakers that you may not have heard before, but all of them will be sharing amazing fundraising methods that are proven to work, and they will be teaching us how to do that in our own charities.
We've tried to make it really affordable for all organizations, but for small charities, it is completely free. So go look at it at fundraisingeverywhere.com. Register now. Join us. It will be accessible. It will be affordable, and it is amazing.
Yes.